Cover. Yes. Yeah. Oh, inside. Pass. Yeah.
All right, welcome back to another episode. I'm super excited. I have a very special guest all the way from Cali, a legend, Andy Herr, J4 winner. So Andy, I'm just going to start off with asking how you got into volleyball.
Yeah, first of all, shout out to Deja Vu and everybody, friends and family. How I got started with volleyball is that my brother and sisters played volleyball when I was in elementary, like at 5th grade. So I was like, okay, they didn't have boys volleyball in elementary because it's just all girls. So I played. I learned how to play through them and through middle school. But I should say I came from like nothing provided. So I got a ball and I practiced. I found a wall, I hit it against the wall, practice my swings and my hits, jump trainings. I didn't have no trainer at that time, I just trained myself, and you can only learn so much and go so far until high school. And then started high school, met some of the greatest players, got trained by one of the best players, and then the rest was history from there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I know everyone knows like you played with Primetime. Before you joined them, did you have like any other teams that you played with, or was it always Primetime?
At first, as an individual player, you are good to others, as to what they see, what they want, what they need. But when you want to play at a higher level, you have to play at their game. You have to have that mindset like, hey, we have to run as a team. If you are running as an individual player, you're great. But as a team, you can't win, you can't perform, you can't help us. So I did not have a team. I was just a free agent. I was just playing with my high school buddies, just for fun, because we all love volleyball, right? You're high school kids, do whatever, play for fun, practice Monday through Friday for 8 hours, and then on weekends I play 10 hours. That's how dedicated I was, because I was like, I want to be someone that a team wants, because that was my passion and is still my passion. I've asked Primetime, the leader of the group, he's like, hey, you guys got room. But at that time, they already had, their actual like players. They had a whole team, but I was just still a kid, it's like, right now we have a full team, and like get better and learn more, keep coming and to practice with us, and soon we'll have a spot. I got rejected a few times, but I didn't take it to heart. I was like, okay, you know what? That means that they see something good in me, and I just need to, keep getting better, so that's what I did, and I was the last package to Primetime. I was the last player to join Primetime, and I've put in a lot of effort in a lot of actions. Instead of I can do this, I can do that, instead of words, I put it to action. Like, hey, put me on the court. And, I did my job, and I listened, and I was very disciplined. They're like, you're very good at listening, and you do what we tell you to do. So that's what we want as someone, as a team player, is like, you're doing something wrong, we're going to help you fix it, and not just one person. The whole team did, like every day is a learning process. We're learning every day, every second, every minute, every hour, like every time you play, you learn something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot with this generation is like, I don't know if you keep up, but it's a lot of pickup teams, and you guys were actually like a team. How often did you guys practice as a team? I know Sean mentioned not to reveal too many secrets, but what kind of training was it, if you can tell us?
when we talk about secrets, it's more of like an inside joke. There's just because there is no secrets to volleyball. It's just how determined you are. And I always wanted to go over the limit, because if you train one way that you've always known from like high school, right? So if you play international for 4 years, that's what you're gonna learn in 4 years. That's how you're gonna play when it comes to outdoor tournaments. Because before then, international wasn't even invented. It was just straight up side out. Like you had to play to earn for your point. That's why games lasted like 2-3 hours, because we're not gonna give away a point just because somebody missed a serve or like whatever. It's ridiculous. That's just me personally, but no offense to anyone else. That's just me. Like growing up, you fight for what you want. Like you fight for your position, you fight for your team, you fight for your hometown. Um, and I never gave up. No matter how many times I got rejected to join a team, or because it's like, oh, we already have our star players. That's cool. And I'll go play with other people that like they didn't care, but I was like, you know what? I'd rather have a team and not play. And Primetime was one of those like, if I have an opportunity for you, so if you come play with us, we'll make it there together. Because people nowadays is like a one-man team. It's like just set this person on one ball all the single time, and you think you can only make it so far as a one. If you're just the only hitter on the team. But if you have 6 hitters and 6 defenders, you can go very far. And my trainings was, like rigorous. Like people don't think that I'm telling the truth, because they only see and hear what's, been said or whatever. But they didn't know that I was like uh jumping all the time. I went hunting with my dad. I went hiking like every weekend, for like the whole day. And I ran every day, and for food wise, I didn't, eat anything crazy. It was just eggs, rice, noodles, hot dogs. I was very fit, and I did a lot of body workouts. I didn't really do any weights. I didn't do any weights until like I graduated high school, and that's when I started like weight training. And people don't know that I do plyometrics, P90X, like all that stuff, because everything you do is it's a whole body movement. If you don't know how to utilize your whole body utilizations, muscles, then you can't perform at your maximum ability or effort. And I used to have one way of hitting, but then I watched Cooley hit. I watched Sean, all his brothers, all the prime times, like all the OGs. Like if you limit yourself to, one way, for me personally, I wasn't gonna go anywhere. So I watched how people hit. I watched their different approaches. I watched their different swings. Like I applied that to myself, and I've gotten very far. But I wouldn't have done that by myself if I was never, you know, with the right team and the group of people that like care and love for me. It's like at the end of the day, you become family, and it's for life. Even now when I don't play, I still get invited to go, to their hangouts and stuff. But training wise, I'm not gonna say it's easy, because you have to be very dedicated. And a lot of people are nowadays, they are very how do you say this? They have the luxury of everything that's provided. But back in our days, we had nothing provided. We played in our own backyard, front yard, go to the park, and do whatever. And the way for me that I increased my my hops, we used to go play at the park called Dickey's Park, right? Like literally right down from my parents' house. And then we would set up the poles, metal poles, white net, 8 feet. We would put like a block, right? Like a block, like a wooden block under the pole.
Oh yeah,
And
to
then
make it
we
go
would
higher.
yes, and then we would add a stick that's about like that long, and we would add it to the top of the metal pole. And then that's like, you know, I can't say, maybe 9 feet or whatever, but
Mhm.
that's how I trained. It's like if you go all out and you push yourself over the limit, you will be able to achieve it. But now it's people aren't ready for that because they're nowadays people have height. Some people have natural hops, but I didn't have any of that. I had to, you know, earn it. You work hard for it, you'll get it. And that's how it went with me. And secret trainings, there are no secret trainings, bro. To be honest, you just practice every day.
Yeah.
The more you play, the more you learn, and you listen to what other people are saying. Hey, like you're one step too far, one step too short. You need to just if you line yourself up correctly, the way they tell you to, and you're not gonna learn it in one day. It takes
Yeah.
hours of practice. You have to practice until it becomes a normal thing for you, where you don't think it's just all action. And it took a whole year. You know what I mean? Like every year I learned something new, and my job was to hit because I'm a power hitter. And they're like, we don't want you to do anything else. We just want you to hit.
Mhm.
And that's what I did. I did my job. I perfected my job. And I didn't argue because you know what? When I play, I'm a play. I don't go and waste my money on these trips just to lose, even though
Mhm.
that's happened before. Because when you travel with teams with new members, there's gonna be that because you're like, we have to give this guy experience so he knows how we run the game, so that he can catch on. Once he catches on, then we could perform as a team, win as a team. And that's what happened. That's how everything went from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Andy, how old were you when you joined Primetime? And like what was your reaction when they said like, hey, like you couldn't play with us?
Oh man, I can't even remember, to be honest. I think maybe I was like maybe 19, 20, 21, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
And I think I would say like 19, 20, because right after I graduated high school at Edison High, I coached for that school, the one I played, because Kru Lee was my coach. Can you believe
Oh,
that?
okay.
He was
Dang,
my
that's
coach.
crazy.
He was my coach because he went there, and then Ravens, La and Pet and them,
Hmm.
they are legends themselves, and I had the opportunity to be trained by them. And when you have someone that's very experienced, to train you, they will train you to the best that they can. And if you don't want to learn, go find another team. And that's the hard truth. Because if you don't want to learn and you think you're like all that, but then when you go perform and you don't perform the way that you think you are and you should, then it just shows that, you're not all that. But I'm not saying that I'm cocky. At that time I was, because I'm like, I'm fresh, I fresh knees, fresh shoulders, like I'm good, it's like I
Hmm.
came in super strong. Like I wanted to have like an actual team, you know,
Mhm.
and Primetime was, the team. But before Primetime, I was team hopping. I was joining teams that were picking me up, and I never said no because like, if I have playtime, I'm gonna go because opportunities are given all the time, and if you don't take it, you'll never know where you go. How
Hmm.
can you, how can I prove to Primetime that I am a good asset to the team? And by showing that I've played against, not maybe like their A team, maybe like an A team, B team, and they split up, but
Yeah.
you want to show them that, hey, this guy could give a good game. He could perform at a very high level, you know, and that's what we want, like, am I in an emotional person? Of course, it's volleyball. Like I hate losing. Like I don't want to play. Like let's say you practice for a whole year and you go to J4 just to lose, right? And that's happened. But we've, if you've never played at that, intensity of crowd, there's crowd and like there's auras. It's like, damn, this is the biggest crowd I've ever been in. But most of the time it's just like, regular park, like 3,500 people.
Mhm.
But I'm
Hmm.
a very self-motivated person when it came to volleyball. Like that's all I did. That was all I did. And I was like, hey, we got practice now. Come now. Like you have to come to practice every day, and improve and like just listen and do your job. And then if you put time in, you'll get better. And if you don't put time in, then you'll just probably bench, and that's what I was trained. It's like when you get yelled at on the court, it's not because they're mad at you, it's because you can do better. You know, um, I'm not a very sensitive person when it comes to volleyball because when I get yelled at, it's kind of like, oh shit, I'm doing something wrong. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. I just came out naturally, but
It's all good.
um, the pleasure of being trained by, Petla and Cooley and Sean Bing and everybody else, all the predecessors, like it's not an everyday thing or an opportunity that you get like a whole group of OGs that are legends and stuff to come in, like even just be on the sideline and give you tips like, hey, like if you do this, I guarantee you'll get a point. And if you listen and just do it, I was like, oh man, I just learned something new. That's how it goes with me. I get trained hard and I train hard and I put my negativity into volleyball and turn that into like energy and power. So that's how I motivate myself. And I'm motivated all the time when I was playing. I like to win. And then when you lose, of course you have to lose a lot before you start winning, and that's how I saw it. And as you grow older, you just learn to accept that. And it's like, if you keep losing and if you don't make changes to you and your team, you're not going to go very far. But a lot of people don't understand that just because they won a few tournaments here and there, it will put an ego on you. But until you make it to like high level competition and then you get beat or slaughtered like 15-0, then that's gonna, put you down in a very bad mood where you can't even perform, even if they know that you are one of the best players. And so I encourage people, not to have an ego, be very humble because I went through that and it costs the team a lot. And but I learned from it, and our winning streaks says it all. We might have had a little mistakes here and there, but at the end of the day, we clutched it, came back and won,
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Speaking of winning, I think I wanted to just touch on like your first J4 championship. What was going through your mind? Like, I know you guys train all year. Was the expectation to obviously it's to win it all, but did you yourself, like when you were on that court, really think, wow, like I'm gonna be one of the guys helping us win?
Uh, the first J4 that we won, oh man, that was like a dream goal because all you hear about is like J4 this, J4 that, like this team is good, this team that, and I'm just kind of like, man, like how, I didn't travel much, like out like that. It was just like in town in like Central Cali, like up north and down south. And so we went, like the first time we went, and I was like, damn, like this is a big crowd, like thousands of people, and when you're not around that type of uh area, you kind of get like distracted or it's too much for you, but when we won it the first time, I'm just kind of like, oh dude, I messed up, I didn't do my job, I choked, and like this, it's just not me, but this is just me personally, explaining my part as like I didn't perform at my 200%. I gave it 100, but I didn't give another 100%. So when we took it, I was just like, candy, dude. I was like, I'm gonna come back better next year. And right after the loss, all I did was train. And I trained, and then I started like uh weight training. I was like, I need to jump higher, and so I went through like the gym training. I started taking like mass gainers. Like I didn't do anything like too crazy, because I didn't want to be a super stiff guy, but I still wanted to keep my flexibility because flexibility plays a big part in volleyball. Because that's where all your power comes from, like utilizing your whole body. If you're just very stiff, you can't really move well, and you're kind of like the weak spot. And I was like, I'm not trying to be a weak spot. I'm trying to be the fastest player, and the quickest hitter. And I probably think I was because I've always ran the middle ones, and people bite, because when you're like getting the sets a lot, people tend to focus on one thing. But
Mhm.
then they forget about the other two hitters that are just there too. Like, but you always have to be ready. You always got to be ready. Like, always expect the unexpected. And it's like I came back, like when we came back, and I was like, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm gonna like I'm gonna help Prime Time. They're gonna help me like take this championship home. You know, and then when we won, like it was just I cried. Like I did it at a very early age, and not a lot of people, have that until, maybe in their like 30, 35, 40s, maybe one time. But we did it as, at a pretty young age.
Mhm.
And I'm very proud of that too. So, and then I retired earlier, of course, because I've did a lot of hitting that people don't really see. The way I hit is just crazy because I'm crazy myself, and it's not normal. People ask me, does it hurt? I was like, no, it don't hurt, because flexibility comes to play. You got to stretch and be very flexible. So that's what I did. But winning came at a price, and I paid that price, and I happily paid it because it was worth it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know you won two J4s, which a lot of people can't say. Like they even went to the finals of a J4. Um, you kind of became like a villain in the Midwest every time you guys came over. I think a lot of the crowd was like, "Oh, like I know who Primetime is, and I know that guy talks a lot of like excuse my language, but a lot of shit too." Did you feel like the hate from like not I guess the hate, but like the crowd being against Cali for a while when you guys were playing here?
Yes, and that's not like I said, I don't take any of that like personally because it's just part of the game. You got teams there, you got fans, and it's like anywhere that I go with Primetime, I go to make a statement, right? Because before that, they're like, "Oh yeah, you got to go to J4." People talk a lot of smack. I was like, "Okay, cool." Like I love talking smack because I can back my stuff up, and
Mhm.
in in here, I can cuss, and ain't nobody gonna stop me. But it was a game changer when I went up there, and then when I did it. And people were like, "Oh, you were like, why did he say that? Like, you can't be saying that." I was like, I thought you guys were like the big smack talkers, but you guys obviously can't handle it. But
Mm.
that's just different from where we grew up and how we play, where we live. And I was
Mhm.
like, all right, cool. But that doesn't change. But that doesn't change anything. I'm still gonna play. I'm still gonna talk. It's just I can't cuss. But it's not like anything like I'm gonna like end up fighting you at the end of the day. It's just like all part of the game. Like people need
Mhm.
to understand that if you watch all the sports, they're all physical, right? But volleyball has a net. That's you can talk all you want as long as you don't cross that line. But at
Mhm.
the end of the day, it's just part of the game, bro. Like I might be this type of person in the game, but if you've never talked to me outside the court, how would you know how I really am? Like, hey, bro, I was like, I don't have a beef with you, bro. It's just volleyball. It's my passion, and I'm gonna play to the extreme. Like I'm gonna bring the best out of you. If you don't bring the best out of me, I'm gonna bring the best out of you so that I can play at my best game too. Because you don't want to ever stoop to a lower level because when you do that, you give the other team a winning chance. And
Mhm.
I don't hate anyone. Okay, it's just part of the game. It's
Yeah.
it's what gives uh the teams like something to go on about. Hey, like they're talking crap about, but talking crap about us. We're gonna go and prove them something, and that's what we did. We didn't need to say much. The only person that really talked was me. It's just on the court, and everybody just was quiet. It's like we go there, we make a statement, we won our games, take championship, we go home, and then we take a winning picture, and that says everything. That's all it is. I was like, but there are some people that will take it to a whole nother level, but that's on them. It's okay. I don't have any beef with anybody. It's for the love of the game. And our trainings are very different. I would say our training is very different because you guys have grass, very nice grass, like it's all green. Over here, dead. So we, and I play on concrete. I play on concrete every single day. And the only time I play on grass is when we practice for the upcoming tournaments. So it's change is always hard, but you have to learn to adapt and change so that you can perform well all around.
Yeah. And Andy, I gotta ask,
Yeah.
so for the first two rings that you got, which one was the sweetest one? Like, which one's the best one that you want? Like, what was the best one? The first one or the second one?
Man, that's a hard one. That's a really good question, dude. Like, to be honest, when you're in the zone, like winning is winning. But I think the first time that you win, it's always the greatest because
Mm.
we played like there was no tomorrow, and we're like it's getting dark. They wanna I think they wanted to like stop the game. I was like, nah, we gonna play in the dark. Like
Hmm.
you can't play in the dark, not my problem, because we play in the dark, and we came to win. Like we're not gonna split. In my head, I was like, we're gonna take it, and that's just no matter what, it's like probably the first time would always be the sweetest moment of all time. I can't remember the highlights, but winning for the first time and just like balling, I fell straight to the ground and just started crying. I was like, one time is enough, but to go back and win it back to back, bro, is like who can say that? Like proudly, as like that's a dream come true for me and a lot of other players too in prime time.
Yeah. Man, I can definitely feel the emotions, dude. Like,
Yeah, dude,
uh,
it's crazy, man. I love it.
yeah. And like going off of that, you've played a lot of the teams, you played in a lot of tournaments, especially at J4. Were there any teams that gave, you or Primetime like a challenge, like a big challenge where you guys had to make bigger adjustments than normal?
Um, of course there are, like there will always be a team, and it doesn't matter who it is to be honest, because like in general, when you play volleyball, right,
Mhm.
you always hear about top three teams, right? Top three teams from Minnesota, top three teams from Wisconsin or whatever, Fresno, right? But you forget that there are teams that are not named that you have to look out for.
Hmm.
We went to J4 knowing that Emmy was there, Hangover Brothers were there, like everybody was there to kick us out.
Mm.
I'm like, it didn't matter what team it was because you're not playing them yet. You focus on the team that you're playing now. You focus on each team that you're playing next and not jump ahead of time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because if you jump to another team while you're playing this team, you're not gonna get focused. You're just gonna lose focus. And
Mhm.
there's not one team that we just looked out for. We looked out for all the teams that we played with. We observed everybody, how the way they play, the way they hit, the way they block, the way they stand, the way they stack. All that comes into play. And we only like worry about winning the game now and worry the next game after.
Okay. Yeah. Did you have like any certain individuals that you personally liked playing against, just not only because you brought the best out of them, but they brought the best out of you?
Hmm. I wouldn't say just one person, because
Mhm.
it's a team game. There is no I and we, or and if you've ever watched any of my games prior, like before and now, or like present and future, whatever, like if you looked at it, most of the times I would be paired with the tallest blocker, right? Like we played it J4, we went up against Emmy. Corey was blocking me, and well, in general, everybody in J4 is just hella tall. Like it doesn't matter who was blocking me, you know? I was like,
Yeah.
what are you guys eating and drinking? Like, gosh, I wish I was that height, but but I'm 5'8" and I look very like small, compared to other players because I'm like very skinny. But that doesn't stop me from performing to be as if I was like 6 foot or like 6'5". I play at the highest level that there is, that's been given to me. And I don't shy away from that. That's not gonna stop me from hitting through you, like overtopping you or like six packing you in the face, because my mindset when I'm playing, I'm not there to make friends. Like I'm there to make a statement. Like if you're not on my team, I don't care about you. We're here to win. Like that's me. Like you come in strong and you prove to people that what you are and what your team can do. That's always been my motto. Like I'm there to make a statement. I'm I'm there to play. I'm gonna play. Like there's like no tomorrow. It's gonna happen today. That's my motivation to always stay hungry. If you're not hungry, then something's wrong, and that's just gonna lead you to a downfall. I've had my downfalls at J4 too, but I had to pick myself back up. I was like, I can't do this right now because one person falls down and like they break down. I've broken down. Cooley and my team was like, hey, like we know you messed up, but you know what? It's not over yet. We still got a second fighting chance. So I was like, you know what? You're right. So, I shook it off, had to go do what I gotta do, get myself straight and come back,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you like way earlier, you mentioned like the losses and whatnot. I know you played in a lot of semis at J4. Was there a loss like a certain year or against a certain team that, hit differently compared to the other losses that you've had?
Let's see. To be in general, like most of the losses that we've had, I don't think anything would hit me as hard as the ones when you go to J4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a whole team, you spend thousands of dollars to go, and you're like, we've trained all year for this. And we might have not lost in one certain game, but more like we messed up. Like for me, we messed up so bad in one game, right? And then I'm like, damn, like it makes us look bad, like everybody's like head down or whatever. I'm like, nothing is more important than like keeping everybody's heads up, as like, because if you think about it, I'm the one that's always screaming, right? Because it's like everybody needs that, that spirit energy, and when it's quiet, it's a tough game. It's a tough fight, with any team, no matter who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because one person goes down, it just trickles down the whole team. But so it's very
Mm-hmm.
important. I think my downfall that I broke down was with when we played against Wisconsin.
Oh,
Man,
Team
that game,
Wisconsin?
yeah,
Yeah.
that game, I broke down so bad, dude. And I don't know if you guys know him. He's a legend too. A was there, and he was like, "Hey, like they can't stop you, dude." I was like, "You play better than this. I play with you all day, like every day, like at Romaine Park. I know you can do this." Because I messed up so much. I couldn't block, I couldn't hit, I couldn't pass, I couldn't do none of that because it's like I got broken down to a pulp, from my own mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one can hurt you besides yourself because you're the one that's getting the ball set to. They're expecting you to kill that ball how you kill like every day. But it's not every day where you like could be perfect. And it's just one of those days like, damn, it just got to me. And we came up and from bottom up. We were getting
Mm-hmm.
beat like 9-1 or something like that. And we came
Yeah,
up
that
and
third
up,
set. Yeah.
and then we came it back up and upset the team. And then we are just like, wow, like that's a game changer. Like it just took one person to say one thing about me and the whole game just changed.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's good to have support like that when thousands are against you and they're like, oh, we don't even know this team. Oh, like who is this skinny guy? Like he's so skinny. Like why is he even hitting? He's like 5'3". right? That's what people would say. Because compared to J4 players, we're we're pretty short, But it's like, but that didn't stop us, And the only people that stopped us was ourselves. So.
Okay. Yeah. Any questions for him from
Yeah,
like
I was gonna ask. So Team Wisconsin was obviously like one of the hardest games. I was battling Team Midwest Express too, because I feel like you guys were rivals in a way. Like you guys and like Midwest Express, I feel like you guys always matched up with each other. It always went down to three. I felt like every time you guys played.
Oh yeah, they are a real formidable team. I'm not gonna lie. And losing to them for the first time, like, man, I was like, you don't really see. I can't say that. No, it's just the way they moved was like, damn. Like they got Corey, right? I was like, this guy played like he's in the Olympics. Come to find
Yeah.
out, come to find out, I'm like, okay, he can play, like he can play. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
and we got beat. I was like, when you're getting like tossed and turned and like all these moves are coming in, I was like, okay, we got beat because we're playing basic. Now we need to up our level. So when we saw them play or we played against them, I was like, all right, we got that. So came back home, took like maybe a week or two break, and I was like, and I myself started watching Olympic volleyball videos. I watch all the teams. I don't care who's hitting. I just like, okay, maybe I need to try this because I am probably the fastest uh person on the team.
Mhm.
I'm saying that because like my speed and my approach and my swing, right? Because you have
Mhm.
all that, you could run any play you want, and it's just. But I did that for me because it's like they're gonna bite me because my name was everywhere, right? I was like, okay. And when you play with a formidable team like, ME, like they're like, okay, he's a little, I'm not saying that they said that, but that's what it seems like because they're like, okay, just put one blocker in this guy because he's short, whatever, right? And, and I don't, people say that that's like a disrespect when they put like one blocker on you or whatever, but
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
a, a blocker is a blocker, but when you have like one blocker, two blocker, and a three blocker, I was like, damn, you need two blockers for this guy? And I was like, but I never saw it like that. I'm just like, okay, we got beat. It's cool. We come back next year, we're gonna take it. And I practiced hungry. Played hungry, and I was like, I just never gave up. I don't care if I got blocked. I keep hitting because the more I hit, the more I know how you're gonna block me. And
Mhm.
hitting high balls. If tall people are blocking you and they're hitting a high ball, you're gonna get blocked easily. But if
Mhm.
you're fast and they're not as fast as you think they are, then you're gonna get through a lot of blocks. But it's a lot of adjustment and changes when you're playing because a lot of people can't like do that during the game, but I do that during the game. I'm like okay, I got blocked with this set. Okay, give me a different set. Right? I was like, okay, I want this, and so I asked for it and I get it. If it worked, it worked, and we're gonna keep it that way because it's working for me. And once I get blocked, then I switch it again. Some
Mhm.
people just be like, oh, just keep giving me sky balls. Like, how many times do you think that he can hit 20 for 20, back to back? Because you can't. You're like the first five is great, but after anything after five, you're not able to do that. So
Mhm.
um, that's why I trained rigorously. And I don't have one type of approach. I don't have one type of swing. Every position I play is different with how I approach, how I swing. And I think on the outside, I have like maybe three to four different swings, but it really depends. So it really depends who's blocking me because I know what works for me, and like I said, I don't limit myself to, hitting because if you switch your hitting, it messes up the, blocker's head like, damn, he was just hitting like this. Oh, now he's hitting like this. Like, oh, he was hitting a one, now he's hitting a fade one. Like, how does that even work? Like you got to
Hmm.
keep them like moving on their feet. Because if you don't if you don't have, keep them on their feet, and if you just set this ball and they're just waiting, and that's an easy block for them, but it's better for you to keep the team moving because they get tired too. Because it's you hitting and 6 players defending. If you move everybody, one of them is going to crash into each other, and that's what you want. Is you want the other team to mess up, you know. I'm not scared of anybody or any team. I am more scared of myself because I'm the one that's hitting the ball. If I can't score, I'm not going to get the set, and I'm probably just going to get benched, but that's in my thoughts. So I was like, that's why I train my mentality to never fail, but I'm not scared to fail. If I mess up, I don't give up. I keep pushing and pushing and pushing until the game is over. The game is not over until the whistle blows, and that's just how it runs for me.
Yeah, I think like, every year J4, there's always so much drama of like, people bringing in like non-Asians. I think I saw a comment where you guys were like the last champions to be an all Hmong team. Was that something that you guys just wanted? Like, you guys trusted in your an all Hmong team to, consistently compete and win?
To be honest, that was a very that was a very big issue, to me myself and the team as well. Is like, people are like picking up like, other, players in different races just to win. But I was just kind of like, and like there's a lot of disrespect, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't like, but if we can do it, then we can do it. If we actually, like work for it like the way we did. And we worked hard for it, like even though people be like, oh man, this team's gonna win because they got this person from here and this person from there. But I was like, it's fine, you can grab whoever you want, and I would like to, play as a, like a full like Hmong team just to represent the, hey, there's an actual Hmong team that can actually play and win.
Mm-hmm.
Despite that, we might not be that tall, but we play as if we're that tall. You know what I mean? And it's just a drive, and people are like, why don't you go pick up this person from here to help you guys win? I was like, we don't need any help. We got this. I was like, we want it that bad. We're going to train for it. We're going to work for it. And we're going to, get it, like give it everything that we got, and that's what we did. No matter how many times people told us like, you need this person to help you guys. Like, no, we don't. It's just our all Hmong team is great. It just proves that, hey, the all Hmong team done it before. It would be nice if another team could do it again. Like that was like years later, and Primetime just happened to be the one. And you can go, far, very far if you are in the right team, like as in the right vehicle too. You travel with great players, and you get the training that you need, and you know how to work as a team and communicate. You guys will go very far. We make mistakes, yeah, and we even talk about it during the game too. It's like, hey, like, you're doing this wrong. I was like, all right, let me fix it. Like that's that kind of attitude like you should have, and instead of fighting each other on the court, that's how you guys lose. And I've done that. I personally done that to Primetime. I'm sorry, but I luckily over the years, I've grown, and that's how, I was able to, cooperate with everybody and let go of my ego, because without Primetime, I'm nothing. As an individual player, yes, great or good or whatever. But as a team player, I wasn't. But, as years went by, I got better and better. And when you work together very well and you bond a lot, talk about things, you make it work. And, we made history. And the rest is history,
Yeah. Yeah. And then I just wanted to ask you, you played obviously legends yourselves, and you played against them. Who's on your Hmong volleyball, like Mount Rushmore?
Oh my God. To be honest, that's a really that's a hard question. I probably can't even answer because there's so many great players, but me growing up in Fresno, but if anything, it's Team Ravens, the people that coach me, like themselves, like as a team and like on one-on-ones, is it's like it's like a dream come true. Like somebody to be like, hey, like I'll teach you. You don't get that from anybody nowadays. It's like you gotta go out there and
Hmm.
ask for it. And they just came up and be like, hey, I train you if you want to learn, and then you like if you play to play, I'll coach you, I'll teach you. And whether he was my personal coach or not, there's like, but everybody that teaches me is a coach to me. Like
Mhm.
I don't, disrespect anybody. I just like if I'm getting trained and if I'm getting the best of the best to train me, why am I gonna say no? It's like
Hmm.
I always wanted to be the best of the best. And I still don't think I even like myself is even like the best of the best. Like personally, it's like we are a because how I see it is like if you're a winner, right? You always have to train to stay good and to be better because there's always someone better than you. You know what I mean? If you just
Hmm.
stop practicing and stop playing, the person that is looking up to you is gonna train 10 times as hard or 100 times harder and come and beat you. And if you don't train to stay there, then you're just gonna drop. That's
Yeah.
that's how I see it. So I never stopped, during my time. It's just like everywhere I go, like I'm gonna make a statement, whether people talk about me, whether they like me or whether they don't like me, whatever.
Hmm.
It's like if you hate me, I like you. It's just like you love me, I love you too. But it's just like, but my mindset like prior to then is like I really didn't go to like these tournaments to like make friends, because it's like you go to these tournaments, like you go to play, you don't make friends. When you make friends with like people and you play against them and then like um you start to play less. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like you start to play more friendly.
More
Because I
soft.
was
Yeah.
like, yeah, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. Like, game is game, but you can talk to me outside the court when the tournament's over. But other than that, I'm there to win. I'm not
Mhm.
trying to get distracted. And I was, I'm crazy, bro. When I was playing, I was crazy. I was just like,
You are.
I'm not, I'm not letting nobody, come like even come to our hometown like Fresno New Year to like come and take our trophy because like they're like, oh, it's Fresno, we can go. And Fresno got a lot of teams. And we got the whole Fresno team defending our hometown trophy and title too, and people come down and be like, damn man, like, why don't you guys come up here? Da 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 da. I was like, why don't you guys come down to Cali or Fresno to be specific, and why don't you guys play in our tournament and see how you guys do? You know, we always come up to J4, but how come none of you guys ever come down? You know what I mean? It's like there's a big difference there, right?
Yep. Yep.
That was my attitude. It was like if you put the money where your mouth is and come play down here. But like no one ever showed up. You know what I mean? It's like if anybody showed up, it was like mixed teams for like different states, and like their cousins to play like Sacramento or whatever, and they just came down and play, Fresno New Year. But off of one person, I can't do that, bro. Everybody that trained me and coached me, they're all better than me. I'm not better than anybody, to be honest.
No worries. You know, you have like Casey and I, we weren't able to like watch you because we were still kids growing up. Our older brother, like he watched you. And you had a phrase every time you hit.
Yeah.
You would say yes
I
every
told
time.
everyone you every time you hit, you would say yes.
Is was that like for mind games or was that just for you like boosting your own confidence? Like, yes, like I'm gonna side out every time.
Uh, you know, um, I didn't really, I didn't really say yes. That was like prior to ME coming down to Sac New Year thing when they actually came down to play. But prior to that, like my favorite phrase was "Oh yeah" and "right there" because I'm just kind of like we all like everybody knew where the ball was going, and every ball that I hit was like it's a dead ball, and it didn't matter to the fact that even if I get blocked, it didn't stop me from doing it again. It's like just never give up. Like I've gotten sets like 3 sets back to back. Like I got 2 sets, got blocked, but it didn't die. It just ricocheted back, and then the third ball they gave me, and I made the point. That's just like, even if that does not give the team energy, but it gives me energy because they need some kind of spirit going on. Like imagine you playing a quiet game and it's boring, you're gonna play boring. So I was always that hype person. Like regardless whether I was at games or practices, I still said it because that's just my motto. Like it's just, I was trained to hit through all my years of playing with Primetime. My only job was to hit, right? And that's all I did. I like train to hit, and why not give myself something to keep me going? And by scoring points, you give the team more energy to play, even if they're quiet. As long as you have one person running their mouth, right? It didn't matter. To me, it didn't matter. We played, we won. That's all that mattered. And I started saying yes. That during that Emmy when they came down to Sac New Year to play, because prior to that, I weight gained. I specifically weight gain and weight trained. So I was 130 pounds, right? I trained all that time until Sac New Year's. I was 160 pounds, all mass, right? Because I'm like, oh, okay. Because I was a little injured from that, J4 tournament, and then like Sacramento New Year came up. I was like, I got all these months to train, so I did that, and like in that time I was like 160 pounds, all mass. I did nothing, literally nothing, but leg day, and I was when they came and we played them again. I started saying yes because I was like, oh damn, like I'm hitting higher than I normally would. I jumped a little higher, because I trained like vigorously for like 3 months, and then after that, I started doing my cardio. I was like, okay, the tournament's coming up. I need to get my endurance and stamina coming in. And then when we played, it was just like every hit was yes. It was like, I was like, man, I was like, ain't no one stopping me. I'm hitting over the top. I don't care, Just like, so that's just me, dude. Yes is like it's hitting a yes ball is money ball, because every hit that I do is it's a game point ball. That was me. I was like, we have to win this. It's like, I'm not losing. I will do everything that I can to hit that ball, and I was on a rampage, and because that's the game that everybody was looking for anyways, but
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's like, it's just not that, that team that everybody was looking for. It's like I said, I was like, I focus on the game that we're playing currently and don't worry about anything else, because when you do that, then you mess yourself up. So we take it one game at a time, and then at the end of the day, it's like we took the trophy home, and that's all that matters. Is like we won, and at off the court, it's like, dude, like you guys played a great game. It's like some people are scared of me because the way I play, or the way I move or whatever. Like there's a few certain scary players, but I was always told that I was one of the scariest players, but I don't know how I'm one of the scariest players besides me running my mouth, But other than that, yeah, dude, it's always a good game, You learn from everything all the time.
Yeah. Did you have a question, Casey?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So like like when Emmy came down, like what was your reaction? Because I always told Corey when I played with him that like I give them a lot of props for even going to Cali. Like to like for them to show up to you guys, it's like a big thing too. So because they said they enjoyed going down there. So like what was your reaction when they came down? Like were you like, oh dang, like you guys actually here, or like?
Yeah, like when we heard, or when I heard it from somewhere, like maybe a word of mouth or like Facebook, it's like, oh yeah, Amy's coming out. I was like, wow, like it was like, oh man, I have another reason to work out and like play again. I was like, because I was like, I was gonna take a break because J4 takes a toll on your body, and but I'm like, if I rest for like a week, then I'm gonna feel like not good and like not in shape. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just start doing it? So I was like, man, they're actually coming down. Like someone from like out of Fresno, like from J4 is actually coming down to play, like, why not? Like, come down. Like, we'll give you a good game, And
Hmm.
I honestly think that they liked it too. Like they loved it a lot because I think that, obviously if you looked at videos, Cali people play different from J4 people, and
Mm.
I'm sure when they came down, if you look at all Cali people, there's not that really tall people, and we play at a very like very high level competition all the time. And and I think a lot of teams, gave Amy a good run, and but I think it was um an honor too for other teams to play against Amy too, so they can get a taste of what we went through, and it's just like it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
formidable
yeah.
team. You can
Hmm.
get shut out 15-0, and like in an instant, and it's a game changer. That's why when anybody gets beat in really bad, then they want to like, okay, we gotta level up, we gotta train, and we gotta do better. And so now you got people running plays, and that's where like everything comes in, you know.
Hmm.
But I was very excited for them to come down, and we had a great time. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, y'all, you guys gave us a good run, we gave you guys a good run. Like, no, we were just going back at it. It's just kind of like, and and there's always gonna be bad ref calls, and that's just how it's always gonna be. But I was like, hey, like, just play the game, and if you lost the ball, or we replay the ball, just work really hard to get that ball back, and just keep playing, And I thank Amy like a lot for even coming down, and that's probably one of the best times I've played because that game that we played with them, man, I was hungry. I was, oh, Amy, man, I want them again. I was like,
Mhm.
that's a formidable team against a formidable team too. So that's how I saw it personally. But I don't
Yeah.
know how the people saw it. I'm like, if you're bringing the best out of me, I'm gonna bring the best out of you too. So that's how I went along with the games.
Yeah, and then I don't want to keep too much of your time either, but you've given a lot of like advice clearly. Will we ever see you like come back and play, out in the Midwest?
For
Oh
me.
man, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people have asked me if I would, come back and play, and it's a lot harder now because I don't think I would want to play with anybody else besides Primetime. Because
Mm.
when you have such a good chemistry with the team and individual players, it's kind of like the way you play as a team is so different from anybody else. And you can pick up five great individuals, right? You could put them all together like a superstar team.
Hmm.
But imagine you being an all-star super, like super team, and you guys still couldn't take first. That's what I feel like. If I was to go play with another team, like it would just be the same. It's just like it would not be an all Hmong team. It would be a mixed race team. I don't
Hmm.
have nothing against it. It's just I think that's just my pride talking. But
Yeah.
for me, for me to be in J4, I don't think I ever will uh come back unless things change because there's so many problems going there, dude. It's just like I'm not gonna waste my money and time
Hmm.
to go there and just to get screwed over. Like
Mm.
there's always things changing, and I feel bad for the people that go and play. Like it's a great experience. Don't get me wrong. It's just I feel like they don't appreciate the money that we as volleyball players and the fans and the customers come in and bring them.
Hmm.
And like all the sports there, like I've read some posts. I'm just like, bro, like I can't do this.
Hmm.
Like I'm not. They're gonna have if they kept it the same, the way that we played when we played during that time, they should have kept it. That's what kept J4 going. But all these changes, all these problems, it's just like it's making people want to come less and less. And for me to come out, it's gonna take a lot to bring me out to play because it's just my time now. It's more important, but you're gonna have to do a lot more to make me want to, make me come out and like spend that kind of money again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want like dedicated players. I want people that listen. I want people that like don't want to lose. They have a drive no matter how bad we're down. Come back from like 9-1 or like 11-3 and come back and win. Like that's how I want to play. You want to upset every team that you play. You want to beat every team. Not slow down on anything. Like if you could beat them at 15-0, then do that 15-0. Why waste energy? Like the more energy you waste, the more, worn down you guys are gonna be. And even though you guys might be a good team, you guys might not pull through 3 games in the finals. You know what I mean? So
Mhm. Yeah, man. I think we need a primetime comeback. I know
Yeah.
PT and Sean are, they can play once in a while. No, Koo still plays, so yeah, it would be great to have you guys come back or have you come back in the Midwest. Show these young bucks what they missed out on.
Yeah. I
gosh,
mean,
maybe.
yeah, I mean, Block's holding it down, man. Like I told you paying like when we came to J4, I'm like, dude, watch that number 88 guy. Like he played the prime time. Like he's the middle guy. Like and then like man, Block was killing it, man. Like I'm like I said, man, you prime time guys, you guys could still play even if you guys don't even play for like years. You guys still
Yeah,
dominate.
for you saying that, like I haven't played for 9 years, right? And I came down to, Fresno a couple times like to play these tournaments, cold turkey. And I was like, wow, I still got it, but it was just like because I didn't train and I didn't like of course you get older and you can't jump because of, joint problems and all that stuff. So I could still damn play well, but I just can't jump, but if I, I wouldn't say dedicate myself anymore. If I put in sometimes like 6 months, you know, just like actually like actually weight train and like, do some plyometrics, like the way I used to, I think
Mhm.
I'll get it back. It might not be, a 45-inch vert or whatever that it used to be, but it's still something. If I can still hit pretty good on a low net or a average men's net, I think I'd still be okay.
Yeah.
I think prime time in general now, if we play, I think we would still give uh some teams a fight, even despite the age that we are, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right. Did you have any other questions? If not, I was gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few. My first question. So we've never seen you guys play against KO. I don't think you guys ever played KO, right? Like like
Hey, oh,
like Hova, Yelang, their whole crew. Like I don't think we've ever seen you play against them, right?
yeah, I don't think so. Like
I think that's the game everyone wants to see. Because I remember every time I ask all the OGs over here, I'm like, hey, who will win, Primetime or KO? Because KO was like the all Hmong team that was winning over here. You guys are winning all
yeah.
the way over there. I was like, hey, who would win? Everyone's like, dang, I don't know. Some people were like, I gotta give it to Primetime, and they were like over here in the Midwest, So like, I want to hear from your perspective. Like how would it go?
Yeah, I think, with playing against Hova and Yulang and even playing with them too. Like if you watched on the sideline and as a team, I was like, and these guys are unstoppable. It's just like two brothers hitting the whole game. You know what I mean? And you got four mad defense and you got two like badass hitters like anywhere on the court. And I think we, I think like for both teams, I think both teams will have a hard time, trying to beat each other because their side outs are so quick, and you got Yelang's hard angle and you got freaking Hova's like he is so damn flexible, bro. Like I've seen his videos, man. That guy can hit. That guy can leap. I'm like, damn, bro. Even at his age, when I saw him hit a straight down 10 at J4, I'm like, bro, like, damn, that blocker was all over that ball. He still hit down on 10. I was like, man. Yeah, when you got a top blocker and a short hitter doing that to you is like that's like saying like me going against a top blocker too, and I hit a 10 too. Is like how did you let that happen? It's that's how formidable I think KO is too. I would I think me myself in general and Primetime in general would have loved to play KO. Because that's,
Mhm.
I think, I remember hearing people saying that, the KO and Primetime would be a really good match too. Because they saw Primetime play everybody else, but it was
Yeah.
just, KO and Primetime, it just wasn't our time to meet. It was just at that time it was everybody else.
Hmm.
I think KO, like I watched KO play, not, like not live, but like I watched them play during our times, and I was like, damn, I wish that we can play them too.
Mhm.
Because man, it's like KO this, KO that, and it was Emmy this, Emmy that. I was like, damn, it's like the top 3 teams out here. But we got to play everybody. Everybody out there is great, not one team out there is bad, because they made it. They made it onto the list. It doesn't matter if you were first or last. The fact is that you were like any team that went to play J4s, you had the guts to go play because you know that you have a chance to win. Why not take the chance to go and play and learn to get better, and this is not to discriminate anybody. Okay. It's to actually motivate you. Like the more you play, the better you get, the better teams you play against, the more you learn and the better you get also.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it for my question. That's all I
All
wanted to know.
right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know the KO and the primetime game, but yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, think like us and KO, that would be an epic match. Man, you got a bunch of hard hitters, you know what I mean? Like it's fast.
Yeah.
I've
Mhm.
seen they hit fast.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, that's all I got. If you guys got any more questions.
No, that's it. But yeah, thank you so much, Andy. I can't wait to like just watch your clips and then just put them on a montage for everyone to see. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. And then hopefully in the future, we get to connect, maybe hopefully in person. I think one day, we'll come to Cali to watch the ball there too. We go with all
Yeah,
these tournaments.
and for you saying that, if and when you guys ever come down, I think you guys will see that our ball game is a lot more different.
Mhm.
You would probably be at the concrete court with us on the tennis courts and watching us play and not grass,
Yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, thank you guys for having me on. It was a pleasure and very honored for you guys to have me on. I appreciate you guys a lot.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah,
You
of
have a good
course,
one.
man.